My talk, which I'm going to be doing this morning, is on nutrition, and nutrition not just for the body, but nutrition for the soul as well. So, how often do we get this invitation? You are invited. Always such a great anticipation when we hear that. What is it going to entail? Where are we going? Well, God in your name and inviting you to come into His presence and to enjoy His company. So often in the Bible, we have invitations by God and Jesus to a dinner. We have Jesus of Nazareth. God invites you to a dinner to be given in His honor. And we do that often on Sunday. And then right in Revelation, blessed are those. So to have a meal is very important in God's sight. It's a very important time of fellowship and of sharing. And it's in this regard that I'm going to have a look at the different sides and aspects about having a meal. In 1 Corinthians 15, verse 46, we read, "What comes first is the natural body, or the natural lesson, and then the spiritual body, or the lesson, comes later." And I think that's what you're going to find with all the talks we're sharing with you today. Often that might be looking as though we're just sharing everyday life skills, but we do believe there's a spiritual everything that we will be sharing. So what natural food and spiritual lessons are we going to learn about today? Well, first of all, make mealtime a happy time. Every man should eat and drink and enjoy the good of all his labor. It is the gift of God. We read that in Ecclesiastes 3, verse 13. So when we have a meal, make it a happy time. No unhappy scenes, no moaning, no groaning. And you are emotionally distraught, it can hinder your digestion. So preferably avoid them. Within yourself, maintain a cheerful and happy disposition. In Proverbs 17, we read, "A merry heart does good like medicine," or "As he thinks in his heart, so is he." Many diseases let us try and get into the healthy frames, and a cheerful, happy disposition will impart health and prolong our life. I'm not meaning happy over here. I am meaning that inner joy that we want to find and that inner peace, which we hope by the end of today we will have given you some encouragement and some assistance. Eat at regular times. In Ecclesiastes 10, it says, "Feast, eat at the proper time." So that's not all day or never, but eat at regular times. And to limit or to have no fat or blood in your meals, as in Leviticus it states, this is a perpetual statute. And their nutritional laws, but I do believe that there was some wise word and reasoning behind that, because science has confirmed that most heart attacks result from high cholesterol, and that the use of bad fats is largely responsible for high levels of cholesterol. Don't overeat. I love this verse in Proverbs 23, which says, "Put a knife to your throat if you are a man given to an appetite." And I know many of us, when we have provided tea or a meal for our churches, and you suddenly see someone dish up a massive big plate, immediately you are wondering, is there going to be enough food for anyone else? So suggestion, don't be the person that's dishing up that big plate of food, because you could be causing major stress in someone else's life, which will cause major digestive problems in their lives as well. And in Luke 21, verse 34, Jesus specifically warns against carousing. And if you go and look at the original word, carousing means parties in the last days. So overeating, which is a form of excess, is very responsible for many degenerative diseases. You must balance your work. We read work. In Ecclesiastes 5, we read, the sleep of a laboring man is sweet. And in Genesis 3, it says, in the sweat of your face, you shall eat bread. So we are needing to eat, we are needing to exercise, we are needing to sleep, and we're needing to do all of this, but in balance. But and that's why I'm so glad that most of you are putting aside the whole day today to just get spiritually rejuvenated, to get energized, because once your spirit and your soul is energized in the correct way, it's amazing how the rest of your body functions better. Avoid anything harmful to the body. Don't you realize that all of you together are the temple of God and the Spirit of God lives in you? We read that in 1 Corinthians 3. It doesn't mean that we are needing to be like super careful and super spiritual of what we are doing, but to believe that God has blessed us with our bodies. We only have one body, so how are you going to look after it? And medical science has confirmed that both food and drinks that contain sugar, caffeine, and other harmful ingredients are very damaging to the human body. So stay as natural and organic as possible. So with this being said, those are just basic guidelines in how to live your lifestyle. But I'm going to now move to the natural and have a look specifically at things that are harmful to our bodies. As most people know, nutrition is a major passion of mine, and I would like to be running around with my grandchildren and hopefully my great-grandchildren when I'm 100, 120, should Christ not have returned. So I'm really doing my best to keep as healthy and as fit as possible. So we're going to first look at the natural, and maybe it's a wake-up call for a few of you, and then we're going to move it over to the spiritual. This quote comes from Mark Adams. 95% of all chronic disease is caused by food choice, toxic food ingredients, nutritional deficiencies, and lack of physical exercise. And how this has been brought to the front in so many people's minds lately because of this COVID-19 virus that's going around. And we realize how the most vulnerable people are those that have got pre-medical conditions. So I'm going to have a look at a couple of toxic food ingredients. I know we all know how we can exercise our 10,000 steps a day. Food choice is a choice, as it says. So I'm going to hopefully be able to show you things that I have picked up in my studies and which you can then be aware of and to be sensitive to in the days ahead. I do realize change, please do not try and change overnight. You'll get major withdrawal symptoms. You will feel as though you have got major flu. You'll have headaches. You'll have fevers. You'll get the shakes. So take things slowly and gradually finish these items in your food choices. These are the ones that are available in South Africa that we have identified. And there are ingredients in most of the South African products. I know in other first world countries, some of these products are totally banned, but in South Africa, they are not so strict. Aspartame, GMO, MSG, trans fats, colorants, and naturally sugar. Firstly, looking at aspartame, don't know if you've ever seen that word on your products. Well, it is a major poison. You can see there's some of the side effects that it can have is muscle spasms, irritability, dizziness, weight gain, which is very interesting, vision, seizures, nausea, blindness. Very, very scary. And especially, can you see their depression and memory loss? So you're going to say, I don't want any of those symptoms. Please, I don't want any of those. Well, what foods do you need to be sensitive about? These. Go and have a look at these products. Look at the ingredients, and I'll quickly show you towards the end how to read your labels. But that product is found in most of your diet products. It is found in most of your, a lot of sweets, because it is a artificial sweetener. And the scary thing for me is that it is found in a lot of your medicines and your medications. So just something to be very sensitive about. GMOs was the second one I mentioned. Engineered food. And this is a plant or meat that has had altered in a laboratory. So you might think you are eating maize, or you might think you are eating chicken, but the chances are that it has most probably been GMO'd. Most of our cereals, if they do not have the word GMO free, then they are not GMO free. So I'm looking at specifically products made from corn in South Africa and maize. Most products by law are meant to say that the product has got GMO products, ingredients inside it. No, I know that a lot of people are going to say, oh, Leona, you're going over the top and there's contradictory evidence. But you know, where there's smoke, there's usually a fire. And I would rather as possible. GMO is definitely not natural, and it's definitely not organic. What conditions does eating GMO food have on, and what effect does it have on your bodies? Well, on your lungs, it can lead to allergies, asthma, your immune system disorders. In your stomach, you can have your gut flora destroyed, liver damage, colitis, can be inflammatory bowel disease. For men, it can even have testicle damage. You are not going to feel these symptoms tomorrow. These are things that build up in your body, and gradually the cumulative effect of it is going to be that you're going to be easily susceptible to these diseases. So again, when I buy my products, my family and we all, I know they find it a challenge. When I go shopping, I read everything, and eventually I just become a bored shopper, because I know exactly where I'm going to shop and which aisles I don't even need to go down anymore. We look at fats. Remember I said to you in Leviticus, it says that we must avoid fat. Now you get two kinds of, you actually get three kinds of fats, but you get two kinds, good fat and bad fat. Good fats are your unsaturated fats. So these you will find in your nuts, your avos, and your vegetables. Your saturated fats are which are found in your animal products, and your most dangerous is trans fats. They are ones that have been partially saturated with nitrogen, which makes their shelf life extended. Oh, can you hear the word shelf life extended? Products need to stay on a shelf. It's for a long period of time. Well, let's have a look. These are the foods you find trans fats in. Your chocolates, margarine, especially ice cream, cereals, burgers, bread and buns, or French fries, pizza, fried chicken. Can you see how unconsciously we are eating food with the knowledge dangers these products can contain? So I do still also enjoy my ice cream. I do still enjoy having a treat now and again, but it is the balance. It's how I am eating and when I'm eating. My mother-in-law, who loves cooking, it is her love language, really has massive challenges to entertain Lucas and myself now. But she, you know what? I respect her a lot. She's come on board and she's realized to the proteins, to fruits and vegetables, and it actually makes her life so much easier. And having these rich chocolate cakes and other tarts and cakes that she always loves making. But, you know, now and again, there's nothing wrong in having it. It's, again, the cumulative effect. And you can see with all the different dangerous ingredients that you can have, how it can very quickly lead to challenges in your body. Here's a nice summary of good fats versus bad fats. So good fats, we start with salmon right in the top. Then we go and your avos, your nuts, and then your almond is of the best that you can get in a natural source. Bad, unfortunately, it is our fast foods. And in our busy lives nowadays, that's where we are all erring to, is fast foods, pre-prepared foods. Those are the foods our children like. And unfortunately, did you know that there's a product addictive to us? I had a discussion with a lady not so long ago, and she is at one of our, she works as a chemical or chemist, a chemical engineer at one of our food manufacturers. And she said her job was to find that chemical that hits the sweet spot on your tongue that makes you want to eat and eat and eat and eat and not stop. Very scary, and I would hate to have that as a job description. We look at sugar. Sugar is a killer. It's the only word I can use for it. And we are so unaware of how much sugar we put in our bodies. We all say, oh, I'm going to go on diets and have my diet cool drinks, and I'm going to not have cake, and I'm not going to put sugar in my tea. But that's not where the dangerous sugar lies. The sugar is often hidden inside your products. With looking at your cool drinks, I mean, we know everyone's always up in arms screaming and shouting about sodas and cool drinks like that. Yes, you need to be sensitive about that. But have a look at the sixth to last item there, Powerade. We all drink well, we don't all drink, but many people drink Powerade when they go to gym because they say, oh, it's good, it gives me energy while I exercise. Well, at the same time, you are putting 8 teaspoons of sugar in your body. I would say rather don't drink the Powerade, and then you don't have to exercise so much. Another place where we are often caught is with, for example, when we drink flavored water. Did you know that there are 6 teaspoons of sugar in flavored water? Your brain just heard the word water. It didn't hear the word flavored water. So you think you are drinking water, and in the meantime, you are drinking flavored water, which contains a lot of sugar. A way that you can assess how much sugar there is in your products is products need to have that ingredients label on the side. And if you look next to the word which says of which total sugar, take that quantity, that amount that is there, divide it by 5, and that will be how many teaspoons there are. But sugar, look at the sad fact. Sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. What that is saying is that it is easier to get someone off cocaine than it is to get someone off sugar. Now, I'm not saying you must have 0 sugar in your diet. You do need to have sugar. It is true. Sugar does give you energy, but over excess in sugar is definitely not going to be healthy for you. So again, my suggestion would be if you're going to try and reduce the quantity of sugar in your diet, start gradually. Instead of start reading your labels, and I'll show you soon how. Start if you've always had 3 teaspoons of sugar in your coffee, have 2.5 for a week, and then 2. It can take you up to a year to 2 years to totally get off sugar. And sugar is known to totally destroy your immune system. It is a fuel for cancer. So I would really, it's one of those passions of mine to try and encourage people to reduce their sugars. MSG, I know this is banned in most countries, but in South Africa, you do find it in quite a few of our products. Monosodium glutamate. Look at the side effects: numbness, facial pressure, nausea, weakness, chest pain, rapid heartbeat, headaches, drowsiness, difficulty of breathing for asthmatics. MSG is a very, very dangerous chemical additive, and it is a silent killer. Another place where we as mothers can be more sensitive, especially with regards to our children and the food they are eating, is the food colorants that are used. You are wanting to err on the side of natural food color, which comes from seeds, fruits, vegetables, algae, insects. Most of the food colorants in the food that we have available comes from a chemical source, and that's why you suddenly started having all these E numbers and other numbers on our products, because they're a danger to your health. The most dangerous is those in red and yellow spectrum. Just there, we look at the number 40, it's the Allura Red food colorant. It's used in cereals, desserts, and cosmetics. What does it do? It triggers allergic reactions and hyperactivity in children. Yellow food colorants used in beverages, desserts, gelatin, candy, and even in your sausages. And what does that do? Severe hyperactivity in children. Tartrazine has the number found in goods, cereals, gelatin, dessert powders, causes severe hypersensitivity and triggers hyperactivity disorders and other behavioral issues in children. So next time your child cries for no reason, or next time he complains about a headache, or he wakes up about a headache, or itchy eyes, or he has an unexplained rash on his body, it could possibly be the food colorants, and it could be from a source as innocent as a yogurt, a flavored yogurt, or from a cool drink that is one of these colors. Why do we always say, especially mothers with children, oh, my kids are impossible after they've been to a party, super hyperactive, and we've always blamed the sugar. But look at the colors of the sweets on the tables. You see, if you look at those colors, what would possibly be called activity. It's always the sugar. So I'm asking again, this process to learn to relate. They've always the elements of protein. Energy tells you how much energy it's going to give you, or your kilojoules, your fats. You are wanting no trans fats over here at all. Under carbohydrates, there's your word sugars. Remember to you take that number and divide it by 5. So you always look under the 100 gram table column, and you will divide this. So when you consume this product, you will have 2¼ teaspoons of sugar in that once you have consumed this product. Salt is another dangerous one. I didn't mention that one, but sodium is another name for salt. You want to have that as low as possible, because salt leads to high blood pressure. In your ingredients list, this is where you would normally find out the MSG, the colorants, and so quick lesson: no trans fats, very low sugars, very low salt, and possibly no GMO or GMO-free products. Your biggest challenge is in the ingredients list, there are 50 different names for sugar. So you might think, oh, it's just cane sugar. No, there's 50 different ways they can hide the naming of sugar. So we have my motto and our we want food to be our medicine. We don't want it to be the product that is actually going to make us ill. We want to use our food to be the thing that can actually heal us. This talk on herbs is going to be so exciting. Our kitchen be our and let our lifestyle be our fashion, because then we will be maintaining the highest possible health that we can. Our physician, I know that God is the greatest physician, and he We read about Daniel in Daniel 10, specifically asks for certain kinds of food. He asks for vegetables and water. And then when he was mourning for 21 days, he didn't eat pleasant food, no meat or wine came into his mouth. So that means he did eat it at other times as well, but in moderation. But if you go and look carefully, you will see his diet consisted of vegetables, legumes, fruits, nuts, grains, and seeds. A very plant-based diet. So moving to the spiritual. What are you feeding your mind? We are now aware what we must feed our body to be nutritious. So what are we feeding our minds? What you feed your mind is going to determine your appetite. And there is where we are wanting to be very, very careful and very aware of what we are doing. Our mind is our greatest asset, so be very careful of what you put into it. These are things that you can have feeding your mind. You can focus on the left, drama, bad news, and negativity, or you can focus on discipline, not mean being happy, in your, and we really are hoping and praying that today you're going to be experiencing that. And even if it is a start-off point for you to start being aware of what you're putting in your body and what you're putting in your mind, because your mind will always believe everything. Let's feed it with love. I always like to think of our mind as a garden, because while we are feeding it and keeping it nourished with wholesome thoughts, our thoughts are like the seeds. We can grow flowers, or we can grow to So again, coming back to our diet, not what you eat. It's what you watch, it's what you listen to, it's what you read, it's the people you hang around. So very mindful of the things that you put into your body. In Philippians 4 verse 8, it says, whatever is true, noble, pure, right, admirable, lovely. If anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. And in Ephesians 5 verse 19, sing psalms amongst yourself, making music to the Lord in your heart. And that is how the day is going to progress. We are going to be singing hymns. We are going to be singing spiritual songs. We're going to be sharing ideas. We're going to be sharing some different. Thank you. You are a woman who feels and you will be praised. You are beautiful, special, intelligent, dedicated, committed, trustworthy, faithful, joyful, and so. And the
Thank you, Leona.